Hello. Well, it's great to meet with the team at Arab World Missions this morning. And Chris, it's lovely to see you. We thank you very much for agreeing to speak with us today about the work of the ministry. Would you
You're
like?
more than welcome, Edna. It's really great to be with you.
Thank you. Would you like to briefly introduce yourself and your role at AWM?
Yeah, would love to. Yeah, my name's Chris. I'm what's called a church development coordinator, which means that what I do is I connect with a lot of churches around the UK. As you can imagine, at this time, it's really difficult, but it just makes things slightly different. As far as AWM Pioneers are concerned, we've been around 140 years this year, so it's our 140th anniversary. And in that time, our goal is to build Christ Church amongst Arab peoples. Now we're looking at wherever they can be found, whether that means North Africa, the Middle East, coming through Europe, even into the UK. So there we go.
Wow, so quite a broad-reaching ministry. And for those who don't know much about our AWM Pioneers, could you explain to us what it, a bit more about the type of work that you do with the people that you support?
And that itself is very wide as well. If I start off with, we've got about 100 people from the UK who've been sent to various parts of the region. Some of them go out to learn Arabic, some of them go out as teachers, some of them go out to run a business, and they connect with the local people and seek to introduce them to Jesus. That's one aspect of the ministry. So we've got lots of people on the ground. The other one is a media ministry, and the media ministry is on the internet. And so in this day and age, if people have got questions, where do they go? They go to Google, and they'll ask questions of Google, and a lot of them will get onto our website where they'll ask questions. Last year, we were visited on our website by about 1.5 million different people from 130 different countries. Wow. All asking lots of questions. And we know of more than 200 people who came to faith in Jesus through the ministry of the website. They're the people who told us. I'm convinced there are loads of other ones who just didn't tell us.
Yeah, of course. That is wonderful. And so what has been the impact of the last 12 months on your work in ministry?
Again, that varies from place to place. Every single person in the whole world has been affected to a greater or lesser extent by the pandemic. In some places in the Arab world, the pandemic is just one thing amongst many that is affecting people. Look at places like Yemen, look at places like Syria, Lebanon. All of them have been affected by the pandemic, but you've got the war there, you've got cholera, you've got this, that, and everything else. So it's just one of many things affecting them. So that affects our people on the ground as well, obviously. In some places, they have returned to the UK. In other places, they've stayed put. They can't go out and meet people as much as they could. So they're keeping in touch with people through social media, through Zoom, like this, through telephone, through email and stuff like that. So they're still maintaining contact with their contacts and still building them up. But the other thing that has happened is, as far as media is concerned, everybody is using it. So, the ministry is certainly continuing, and we're still seeing lots of people coming to faith. Lots of people aren't asking lots of hard questions at this time.
Mm-hmm. So just to give us a bit of an example of work on the ground, say, for example, somewhere like Yemen, where we hear on the news a lot about some of the difficulties in that country. Can you talk us through some of the work that your team are doing in a place like Yemen?
I won't talk about Yemen itself because we actually haven't got any people there at the moment,
okay,
for understandable reasons. But if you talk about, I won't even name the country, but whether perhaps they have been able to go out, if there's been problems in the area, they might have gone out to have a look around to see how they can help people. I know in one place that there was an incident which happened, and some of our workers went into this area and were looking around. They went down little side streets where no one had been before. He'd gone to this area which he'd never been to before, and he goes down this little side street and finds this whole community, and he gets talking in Arabic to the lady in a little one-roomed home, and the windows have been blown out at the front. And he talks to her and he says, you know, we would love to be able to help you. Can we come and help you? But we'd really like to be able to talk to people in your community as well. And this lady was able to open up the whole of the community to them, because it was a little indigenous area and they all knew everybody, they were all related. And the next day, this one of our workers was able to take a number of other people back into that same community, and to be able to start providing, you know, new windows, new doors, things like that into this area, and help bring it back to a livable area. You know, you get things like that.
Yeah, that's
In other places affected by war, you know, where there are loads of refugees, and if you think about it, in the Middle East there are loads of refugees all over the place, from all over the place, and they go out and they provide fruit and vegetables for these people. They can't afford them, but these people come to a church to register, and our teams were able to supply them with fruit and veg, and they'll build up relationships with them, pray for them, gradually introduce them to who Jesus is.
Yeah, that is amazing. Thank you. And we're also here with Joe, who has been doing some work on the ground with yourselves. So, Joe, if you can introduce yourself and briefly talk about the work that you've been doing.
Actually, thank you very much for inviting me as well. My name is Joe. I'm Christian for about 41 years now, after conversion, and I do this kind of ministry among Arab Muslims after God called me to do it about 35 years ago. So I think 35, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 35 years ago. My heart and passion is to go to reach and to help disciple, you know, lead people to know Jesus, and to grow in their faith, and to be able to be self-dependent. Actually, because in our society, not in England here, okay, not everywhere is safe to go to church and knock the door and say, okay, can you help me, or help, you know. Maybe these days are much easier, but in my days it wasn't that, you know, good and easy to find. You know, maybe the church will be closed, so maybe people will be worried, afraid about their you know, ministry, and ask you to leave and never come back. So to help people to be, you know, established in their faith and in their understanding for the word of God, and to be able to pray and face this situation of being isolated, you know, in the middle of your family, but you don't feel that you are part of your family. You know, you have no supporters, no friends you can trust and share them something like this, because one mistake can, you know, cause your life, or your, you know, cause you a lot of troubles. So my work always is to, you know, find these people, help them to understand and know God, and to help them to be, you know, growing, or to grow in their faith, and understanding the Bible, and as well in the future, okay, because not all of them, not everyone who accept Jesus, he stay believer, okay. Some of them, it's like a you know, there is cracks always, you know, there is a ways to return back, or to be atheist actually, okay. So I don't give always a rosy picture about ministry, okay, but people who stay believers, okay, very small number became passionate as well to do the ministry. So I find these people who are always less than 10%, okay, to help them to grow, to go and you know, to be part of the God's army in the streets. So so I'm a street man, okay. So at least till the pandemic, you know, happened, it was I used to do ministry in England, you know, in Germany, in Georgia, east of Europe, you know, in Belfast, and sorry, in not Belfast. I'm really sorry, in Wales, which was Cardiff. Okay, different places, you know, Brighton, different places and areas, you know, we go to help and support. Plus, of course, our work with Arabs inside Arab world through media now. Okay, so God bless Zoom.
Yes, yes, exactly. God bless Zoom indeed. I think we're all very grateful for technology at this time. So it's been really interesting to hear about, you know, you're a street man. You're very much about connecting with people on the ground. And you mentioned as well about helping them to know Jesus. Can you talk us through how you're doing that? You know, what are some of the ways in which you do that?
That's good. You know, there's some qualities, of course, I have, which is I have the background, understand the background, so I understand how other people think and where they came from. I master the language. This is my native language, you know, the Arabic language. You know, I understand Bible very well. I'm a people person, so I know how to start conversation and build friendship. How to gain the trust. You know, try to understand. You know, to how much they are educated, their social background, family background, country background, because not all Muslims are the same. They are Muslims with S at the end, you know, so not every Muslim are the same. So I try to find the key area which, you know, help him to be open and talk. And I listen. As much as I speak, I give him the opportunity to listen, because when I listen, I can find a way to discuss something. You know, it takes always time, you know, to go through. It's you know, in outreach, there is something we call the bus ministry, which, you know, if you meet someone for 2-3 bus stops and you have to finish the whole message, okay, or someone he stay with you 2-3 hours, or someone he meet you regularly. So it's different and varies from person to person. So I do my best and God do the rest, you know.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I wonder, I remember many years ago when I did Evangelism Explosion, and it was very much about that bus ministry where you had a few minutes and you needed to be able to use that as effectively as possible. You know, it's one of the training techniques that we were taught at the time. So it's great to hear that you're using something similar to that. In your work. And so we've heard from Chris about some of the challenges over the last 12 months, especially living in a COVID world, post-COVID world, as it were. What has been, how have you seen God work during this time of quite difficulty for many people? What has been the thing that has stood out for you the most during these last 12 months?
Actually, I always believe that I shouldn't put all the eggs in one basket. Okay, so as long as you have different places to work in and, you know, do the ministry, that will keep you, you know, I mean, sustain the ministry. So I, for the last few years, I do ministry in one of big detention centers. Okay, which is there's about 1,100 beds in this place, and you don't, you know, you can meet people on a daily basis, and I don't have to think about carrying gazebo and books and tables and, you know, take permissions and all of this, or stand under rain in this beautiful country. Okay, but inside the place you are respected, and you can build friendship with people who are desperate, okay, to find someone they can trust, and someone who can listen to them and help them to, you know, to face the pressure, okay, they face, okay, in this place, and to befriend them. So we talk together. I do some, you know, bring videos or DVDs to watch some, you know, Christian based, you know, movies. We play pool together. We listen to them. You know, I spend time. You know, I don't look to my watch. I spend time. You know what I mean? So and they feel comfortable. So they come to me and say, most of them actually, they say, you are different. Okay. So I start to talk about why I'm different. So, actually, I sometimes I share some things in my life, which is not very personal, but, I mean, something to say that I faced this problem and I prayed to God and what's happened this. And so I connect life with God, with the word of God, and with his situation, you know what I mean, to make it like a big story. And he feels that, wow, this is, no one talked to me about this before. Okay, and that makes them very excited to come and talk again. And many became Christians, and some they got deported, and I connect them with people in their home countries. Some people they got released and they got lost, or I keep contact with them. I mean, so I do my work in the place faithfully. Okay, and I don't know what about tomorrow. I just pray for them. But I do what they need. You know what I mean? I help them to understand. Okay, and not everyone is the same. Some people are illiterate, so they can't read. You have to do storytelling style ministry. Okay, which is I'm good about as well. So yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I think so often when we hear about detention centres and things like that, it's always negative. The media portrays that side of thing quite negatively. So it's great to hear that, there's ministry going on and really trying to reach people in those environments and in those difficult situations. So thank you for sharing that. And so really, how can we as a church pray for you? Because we are so privileged and pleased to be supporting your ministry. We have done for a number of years and really want to, take that a step a bit further in our prayer and support. So how can we as a church pray for you as a ministry, as individuals as well?
Okay, number one, I want to thank you for your support and prayer over the years. This was really helpful and great. But as well, I want you to know that I'm not a Superman. Okay, I'm a human. So as much as and I don't do this ministry because it's my job. It is not. It is my calling. It's my I mean something. It is. I can say melted in my body cells, you know what I mean? So I do it because I love to do this. Okay, so we are human. I have challenges. I have family. I have I mean many things like any other person. Okay, but as well in my work we face other kind of challenges, which is security, which is some kind of maybe these days during the pandemic I don't travel abroad a lot. Okay, or you can say I didn't. Okay, but if it is open, everything is challenged because it's not only about my life expenses, but it is beyond this. So what you are doing is covering good share about what is happening, which is great. But I want you to pray about my family. Okay, I want to pray about my life, my health situation. I'm not young now. Okay, and the bondage in this after the children grow. We are family-based, people, so we respect the family. We can't live without being together, connecting to each other every day or every few, you know what I mean? So we all of this has been, change in this world. So pray for this, connection between us and our boys, and pray for my wife, for her situation. She is great support to me, but she has some issues, which is, prevent her doing a lot. But she is as well, she reach women, she talk to women, she is very good. I mean, in doing this, she's a teacher, okay, in one of the big international schools, and all her children are the children of the diplomats of Arab countries. Wow. So you can imagine how much she can do. Okay, especially she create her program herself. Okay, in this school they create a program according to a theme. Okay, so she is doing great. Okay, so so she changed the life of people who are young and will take big positions tomorrow in their countries. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's many things you can pray about, so, but yeah, I mean, it's a long list, but pray for us.
Yes,
to summarize it.
yes, thank you. And Chris, how about yourself, looking at it from the corporate AWM Pioneers perspective?
Yeah, one of the ones that I would say, well, I just two prayer requests really. One, pray for the workers that they will continue to shine for Jesus where they are. And the second one is really to ask the Lord of the harvest to send out more workers into his harvest field.
Amen.
It's ongoing prayer. And who knows, it could even be that someone's from St. Mildred is being called to the Arab world at this time. So ask the Lord of the harvest to send more workers. There's so many opportunities at the moment, there really are.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you very much to both of you. It's been a joy to talk to you and hear more about your work. I'll stop the recording now.